Yes, come on. Yes, my name is Carrie Silkowski. I am a professional psychic medium. I know that we're talking about, I didn't know about saying a professional because of how everybody's talking about the professional today. I was titled that when I got signed by my manager, and you know what it is what it is. They put you as some public figure, and you know, the professionalism is, you know, I can only tell you my story and where I am and where I come from. I come from a little town of North Arlington, New Jersey, and I was born and raised there. What I do is I've raised 5 beautiful children, 2 of mine, 3 of my lovely husbands. So I don't like the word that. But what I did, everyone, is I've always had an ability. From the age of 5, I'm not going to say like everybody else says I remember at 3, because I don't really remember anything at 3, but from 5, I remember always my mom saying, and I would like be speaking and hearing a woman, and I later found out at 5'11" that it was my grandmother. Her name was Florence. She died at 34 years old, and she was from Nottingham, England. I had a beautiful grandmother who raised me along with my mother, but my mother was not a non-believer. By 11, I was able to see and hear my grandmother. I would go from a very young girl giving my mother those little dandelions that bother the heck out of people in New Jersey. They call them the weeds. And every time I saw them, I'd give my mother one from the age of 5, every time I could pick them at any event. And my mother would flip out. Her name was June. And she would flip out. And lo and behold, I know how years ago, they were from Newark, New Jersey, that they used to lay the deceased out in their home for 7 days. And for 7 days, the family had to view the body and everybody. And every day, my grandmother told me, fully dressed with her high heels and her long hair and her beautiful outfit, she came to me all the time and tell me that my mother would go outside and pick those crazy flower and put it in her hair and take out the old one for 7 days. So I used to go, and my mother used to flip out. And finally, I was 11 and a half years old at the Elks Club in North Arlington, New Jersey. We were having our clam bake, and I chucked a mean clam. And a little girl, 6 years old, by the name of, my grandmother's name was Florence. Her name was Florence. She handed my mother a lot of all those dandelions, and my mother just lost it. So at 11 years, I took my chucking gloves off. I'll never forget it. It'll all be one day in the book. But I took my chucking gloves off because you could cut yourself. And I walked over to her. She stood there, and I said, "Now, are you going to believe me?" And she just looked at me, and she hugged me. We just cried together. And I said, "Let's talk about what it's been like for you, Mom, June, losing your mother at 11 years old, and you know, not beating. My mother never had any ability. It was my grandmother who had the ability." All right, so a little bit about my history of when I started and how I started and stuff like that. Again, raising the children, I sold cars for a living. I sold the best car you ever want to buy. I started at Saturn and ended up in a Mercedes, and when I decided to become a public figure and go public, I actually had asked for permission from all my children. My daughter's 26 and my youngest is 16. But I didn't want to discriminate them or make their lives any different, but they knew what I did on the side for all those years. I did, you know, I had tons of clients in Bergen County and Warren County, but I decided to do this because my wonderful husband, who's very supportive, Thomas, over there taping, he was having a reunion. And 3 to 4 months before the reunion, I kept on hearing, Eddie Champ, am I allowed to say it? Well, I did it now. I kept on hearing the name. So I kept on telling him about it. I said, you know, this gentleman is very disturbed. He was hurt. He was not feeling well. He's going to harm people. Well, finally, my lovely husband told me that this man was literally bullied and abused for years in high school. His family was tortured. He had eggs thrown in his house. I mean, they used to punch him. And he literally carried this his whole life. And a lot of times, with the bullying, which is why I call myself a closet psychic, I didn't come out and do this publicly, is because, you know, we take that to the adulthood. However, this man did. His agenda was to harm, very much harm, 2 of the participants that were going to my husband from Verona, New Jersey, were going to the reunion. It was down the shore. I had not known where he came from. I just knew that he was going, and my guardian at the time, I had 3. I only got my dad 3 months ago. My father died at 40. I finally got him aboard 3 months ago. At the time, 3 of them talked to me at once. It's very difficult, but I learned how to listen. They told me where he was, his location, and that he had armed forces and everything. So, my husband had no choice but to call the coordinators for this reunion. And he's like, listen, you gotta sit down. He's like, let me tell you something. One of his friends went and said, okay, you gotta be kidding me. So they got a connection going. I found this gentleman in Hazlitt, New Jersey, at the Best Western Hotel. And as one of the team, was there, they had a team going where, this woman, Jill, by the name of, who was coordinating, called and said, may I speak to so-and-so? They said, oh yeah, hold on. What? She flipped out. What? Kidding me? So they came back and said, no, this person's not here. So her and Barry, who were only about 4 miles away in Marlborough, New Jersey, they took a drive and he was there. He was there with a woman, and they have everything that they needed. And one of the other coordinators was a web design manager, and said to me, we've had the reunion, it was a big secret, and when all the emails went out, she said to me, have you ever thought about going public? And I said, but I've decided to why not share with the world that this exists, that those who cannot afford a reading have the right to ask that one question that could change their lives. I have a doctor that's also one of my guardians. I hear them, they're here, they're real, it's been documented. I have a live show I do every Sunday and Tuesday. You can see me, it's on www.carriepsychiccafe.com. And what I do is you can call in and you can chat in my chat room, and there's a chat master, he's sitting right there, and it's free. We have thousands and thousands of people from all over, from Brazil. I answer questions as a screen name in my chat, or I answer the phone, and it's live, everybody, and you cannot be wrong, because people are up in your face. So, and they don't allow me to be wrong. So I do this for the world, we do this for the world, and we're going to prove that this does exist. It does. So I've been up against the most amazing, amazing people that have said, you are real. They were walking in that room in tears. And as far as my next journey, I want to go on the paranormal. I want to go, I want to feel it, I want to own it, I want to be a part of it, because that's only the journey that we're going to do. So what I'd love to share with everybody today is that for this organization to be as powerful, there's so much spirituality, and there's so much that I have with Lee and Adrian. Next year, and whenever we do it, this room better be packed, and there better be people that will understand what this is about. And I want to donate what we make today to this, and I want to make it happen. And on my show this week, I will be also doing a special reading for the next month to build the funds to donate to make this Paragon again another successful. So that is my goal for this whole month. So I want to thank everybody, and we're going to rock it. But again, I'll be doing it in my hotel, and we will go the following information to you. You'll have 10 minutes, it's $25, it goes straight donated to her. If you wanted to book a further reading, I do Skype, FaceTime, I do phone, Skype in person, I travel all over. So again, I'm a lot in North Carolina, they kind of dig me there, that's where I started, and challenge myself, because a lot of people didn't believe in that, and I got some believers. So, and again, just by the acknowledgement. They're here, we're going to rock, and we're going to make it happen. So I'm going to go over and get some of this awesome barbecue that I've never had before in my life. I want to say thank you, and please, you're welcome to have the reading. It goes right to the fund, Legal Verify, and I want to say thank you very much for your, just coming, and let's make this rock. Let's make it happen. Thank you.